You know, I've been collecting fragrances for a long time, and I like to think that I try to see the good in most everything. I try my best to give fragrances a fair shot. You know, sometimes I might not like something at first, but as I continue to go back to it and revisit it, you know, I'm okay to admit that, yeah, I've changed my mind on this. That's a risky game to play because when you're putting out videos and you say you don't like something at first and then you end up liking it, everybody says that you're a liar and that you're being paid off. Well, I think everybody changes their mind at some point in time. Just not everybody's expressing their thoughts on video every day. And so I have had plenty of times where I maybe haven't liked something, end up coming around to it over the course of, could be a few weeks or even a few years. I've always admitted to that. However, today I have 5 fragrances that I would never purchase again. Pretty much all of these I've had for a substantial amount of time, and I still do not like them. I went and actually resprayed each and every one of these before shooting this video just to make sure nothing miraculous has changed, and a couple of these about made me sick to my stomach. I don't know what it is, but these don't really work well for me. I talk so much about fragrances that I love on this channel just because it's fun. It's fun to talk about what you like, but today we're talking about 5 that I really do not like. This first one is John Varvatos Artisan Teal. So as far as like being disgusted by this scent, that's not at all the case here with this one. We're going to be getting to a couple of those later on towards the end, but really there's nothing that is majorly wrong with this. The reason why I would not repurchase this is because I have a lot of things that smell similar to this, and this doesn't provide anything new or of value with a twist to where it would make it something that I am actually reaching for and enjoying. So Artisan Teal, if you haven't smelled this one, it kind of smells a bit like YSL Y, Eau de Parfum, you know, just that general series. And I have, obviously, that whole lineup, but I also have things that basically capture that smell and then tweak it a little bit in a way that it is appealing to me. And that has never been the case with this one. You guys know I love John Varvatos, so I'm definitely not hating on the brand by any means. I love the brand, especially their older stuff. They put out some amazing scents over the years, but this one was very much a letdown. And it also didn't help that I did pay full retail for it when it first came out because I was excited. And well, it just didn't really live up to my expectations. At this point, you can pretty well get it for around $35 now. So it's obviously, it's been out for a while and it's at a normal John Varvatos price point on discounters, but it's definitely not one that I would ever even consider repurchasing again. I never even wear the stuff because it just doesn't do it for me. And you guys know I'm a big proponent of not only clones, but even just taking inspiration from other fragrances and tweaking it. I'm all for that. I love it. I love a lot of scents that do that because it's a twist. This one just didn't really work out for me. This next one I've had for a really long time as well. I mean, really long, even longer than that. I got this one very early on in my collecting days, or just very early on in making videos too. I got it for a good price at the time, and it is still very cheap now. It is Davidoff Run Wild. So this one, it kind of is basically in that Invictus lineup. Not Invictus Aqua, not any new Invictus. Obviously, this is not a time traveler. So at the time that this came out, it was really only Invictus and Invictus Aqua, maybe Invictus Intense too, I guess. But we didn't have any of the new stuff. And so this smells very, very close to just that original Invictus DNA. Maybe it's a little bit brighter, a little bit fresher, but that's basically what it is in a nutshell. The good thing about this one is the price point. Regular Invictus obviously is going to be more expensive than this. At this point, Invictus has come down a lot in price. It's so diluted by all of the flankers. But at the time that this was out, you know, OG Invictus was a little bit more expensive at the time. It was, you know, going for a higher price than what it did now. And so this did provide people with a nice, affordable alternative. We have other fragrances that do that as well. Regular Aaro Wanted is another one that kind of captures that OG Invictus smell, but with a little bit of a differentiation. And this one does too. It's yet another situation where I never really reached for it. And I know the keen eye is going to say, oh, you didn't like it, but yet your bottle is missing, you know, some What's up with that? Well, I sold decants a lot back in the day. This is one that I sold decants out of. Just kind of clearing the air there. Other than that, I never wore the stuff, just never really found it appealing. This next one is, it's a clone fragrance. It was obviously a blind buy. All of these were blind buys. And I don't know what I was expecting out of this one, but it ended up being something that was a bit of a letdown for me. It is Lattafa Hayati Al Maliki, or Al Maliki. I don't know, M-A-L-E-K-Y. Your guess is as good as mine on that one. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm just not a big fan of the scent, really. I like the original, okay, and that one's kind of, it's an interesting one. It's a little bit of kind of Rasasi Hawas, but with this cinnamon spice, kind of weird, and, cheap as well. Actually, a little bit cheaper than Hawas. A lot of times, I was looking this one up. I think you can get this for like $13 or something. Really, really cheap at this point in time. So I enjoyed the original. I thought it was okay. Went for this one and wasn't the biggest fan. This one has cedarwood, pink pepper, amber, musk. It reminds me a little bit of this kind of sweet Jean Paul Gaultier kind of Les Beaux, Les Parfums type of smell. But then it also has, a little bit of this kind of Paco Rabanne Phantom, OG Phantom type of smell, which I've never really been the biggest fan of either. It's one of those clones that really don't make a ton of sense to me. Or I guess what I should say, it's more or less one of those hybrid style clones where it's not overly targeted. It's kind of just taking bits and pieces of some other things and mashing them together. And I'm okay with that. There's a lot of fragrances that pull that off really well, but this has been one that has just never really clicked with me. Okay, these last two are ones that just make me visibly cringe when I smell them. These really do not smell that good to me. This first one is Aaro Wanted Tonic. This one has lime, ginger, and patchouli, and that's it. This is a 2020 release, so it's been around for a while. Have no idea why it is still around. Whether or not it's actually in production now, I don't know, but I do know you can still get it on discounters. It's just kind of beyond me, because the lime is really synthetic smelling. And I hate to say that because it's synthetic doesn't mean bad, okay? It's just, it's a very pungent, stringent type of lime accord that is just off-putting to me. You get some ginger as well to probably try to give it a little bit of a bright spice to maybe liven it up a little bit, which doesn't really do a whole lot in this instance. And then a patchouli, which is kind of a more or less a random choice given what I would feel as though they're trying to accomplish. A scent called Tonic, I'm expecting very bright, very fresh, very uplifting. And while it seems like they tried to do that, it just doesn't really come across that way. This is not refreshing in the slightest. And it's a shame because I love the Aaro Wanted lineup. Basically everything from Wanted by Night on, I give a thumbs up, besides this one, but all of them are good. And it would make sense, and I would love to have a really solid, fresh version for spring and summertime, but this is all we have, and it just, again, it's not something that I enjoy. I sprayed this one on before shooting this video, and man, I really don't like it. I detest this stuff. It's just not my favorite. Good news is you can get it for next to nothing because it's so in low demand that I'm sure everybody's overflowing with it and they're trying to get rid of it at this point. And last up, we have Davidoff Cool Water Intense. Also have had this stuff for a very long time. You might remember, me talking about this over the course of the past several years. I probably got it whenever it first came out. So I don't know when exactly that was. I know it's been a while. And I'll just point out as well too, the levels right here, I sold a ton of decants of this because I had zero desire to have any of it on hand. So this is all I got left. Again, just not my favorite here. This one has orange, coconut, and amber. I love coconut normally when it's done in a way that I enjoy, I suppose. But here it is just, I don't like it how it's done with the mixture that's going on here. It's too powdery. It kind of has this heavy type of sweetness that doesn't really jive well with everything else that's going on. It's cool water intense, and that's cool, and I love that, but one, it smells nothing like cool water, and two, it's just, there's something off-putting about it for me personally. And I'm a big fan of quite a few of the cool water flankers, everything from cool water parfum, cool water wave, grapefruit and sage, and there's probably a few more that I'm missing that I really enjoy. So again, not a hater of the line. I really like most of them, but this is one that I could never get onto. It's just, it's always been, makes my stomach hurt. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. 5 fragrances that I would never purchase again. I don't like them that much at all. A few of these I really hate, but that's just kind of what it is. You know, out of what I have, these are coming to mind first, and I think that means I'm probably doing pretty good as far as like, you know, my blind buy success rate, and just the fact that, again, I try my best to see the good in everything. Even if something is a little bit basic, if I like how it smells, I still find a use for it. I still say that, hey, this is good for the right person. For these though, I've tried to like them and I just can't. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.